The night was calm, but something in the air felt strange, like the world was holding its breath. Aidan Walker noticed it the moment he stepped out of his small cabin near the edge of Black Ridge Forest. The sky above him shimmered with a faint blue glow, as if something was moving behind the clouds. But he ignored it. He had seen weird things before, living close to the restricted zone. Aidan worked alone. He liked it this way. No noise, no people, no distractions, just silence. But that silence broke when he heard the first warning earlier that day. Stay away from the girl, the old man at the supply store had whispered. His face was pale, his hands shaking. If you see her, don't look into her eyes. Don't speak to her. And whatever you do, don't follow her. Aidan had laughed it off. What girl? The old man swallowed hard. The alien girl. The one who wanders the forest at night. Aidan brushed it aside. People in this town loved stories. Monsters, ghosts, curses, anything to scare newcomers. But now, hours later, something inside him wondered if maybe, just maybe, the warning wasn't a joke. As he walked toward the storage shed, he heard a soft sound, a faint humming. It wasn't human. It wasn't mechanical either. It was something in between. Aidan stopped, listening carefully. The sound floated through the trees, like a voice calling from far away. Then he saw her, a girl standing between the tall pines, her back facing him. Her hair glowed faintly silver under the moonlight, flowing like liquid light. She wore clothing made of strange fabric that shimmered like stardust. She looked young, too young to be wandering alone at night. Aidan frowned. Hey, are you lost? She turned. In that moment, Aidan froze, her eyes. They were unlike anything he had ever seen, bright violet, deep like galaxies spinning inside them. They weren't human, and yet they held something familiar, fear, sadness, and something else. Something she was hiding. The world around him felt distant, like time had slowed. The girl blinked once. Then she whispered, "You shouldn't be here." Aidan stepped closer. Why? What's wrong? She shook her head slowly. They're coming. Before Aidan could ask who, the trees behind her flickered with a strange electric light like lightning trapped between the branches. A deep rumble followed. The ground vibrated beneath his feet. Aidan's heart raced. What's happening? The alien girl reached out suddenly and grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. Her touch was cold, too cold for any human. If they find you with me, she whispered, you won't survive. Aidan pulled his hand back. Who is they? She didn't answer. Instead, she looked over her shoulder with clear panic in her eyes. Aidan followed her gaze. Blue, circular shapes, almost like glowing orbs, floated through the forest. Moving toward them, Aidan recognized technology when he saw it. Drones? She shook her head. Hunters. The word hit him like ice water. Hunters. He had heard rumors. Alien enforcers. Creatures that captured escaped beings and erased anyone who got in the way. Aidan stepped back. Are they after you? The girl hesitated, and that hesitation was all the answer he needed. He felt a tension in his chest. He didn't know her. She wasn't human. She was dangerous. And the old man's warning echoed again in his memory. Don't follow her. But Aidan wasn't the kind of man who walked away from someone frightened and alone. He swallowed. Come with me. I know a safe place. The girl stared at him, confused. Why would you help me? Aidan didn't know how to answer. Maybe it was her eyes. Maybe it was the fear in her voice. Maybe it was because, for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel alone. He pointed toward his cabin. We don't have much time. For a moment, she didn't move. Then she nodded lightly. Okay. But if they find us, you must not look at them directly. And don't run unless I tell you. Aiden frowned. Why? She whispered. Because they don't hunt with sight. They hunt with emotion. Before he could process that, the forest exploded with a bright blue flare. The hunters were too close. The girl grabbed his arm again. Go! They sprinted through the trees. Aiden's boots slammed against the ground, leaves scattering behind him. The girl moved much faster than any human. But she stayed beside him, pulling him whenever he slowed, guiding him when he nearly tripped Dot as they reached the cabin door. The air behind them cracked like breaking glass. Aiden glanced back. Tall shadow emerged from the glowing fog, its shape humanoid but twisted. Its body made of dark metallic skin, its face covered by a mask with shifting symbols. The hunter, Aiden felt something grab at his mind, a pressure, like someone pushing into his thoughts. The girl shoved him inside the cabin and slammed the door shut. Don't look at it, she hissed. Aiden pressed his back against the wall, breathing hard. Then, in the silence, he heard the hunter speak. Aiden Walker, it whispered through the door. You should not have ignored the warning. A chill ran down his spine. The girl's eyes widened. They know your name. Aiden stared at her. What are you not telling me? The girl looked at him with fear and guilt. And in that moment, Aiden realized this night was far from over. Aiden locked the cabin door, but the wood felt too thin to stop something like the hunter outside. His breathing was uneven, his heart racing so loud he wondered if the thing outside could hear it. The alien girl stood in the center of the cabin, her glowing hair dimming slowly as she combed. Her violet eyes scanned the walls as if checking for danger, listening to sounds Aiden could not hear. Aiden's voice finally broke through the tension. Tell me what's going on. How does that thing know my name? She hesitated. Again. Every time he asked something important, she hesitated. And that worried him. It doesn't know your name, she whispered. It knows. Your mind. Aiden blinked. My mind? What does that mean? The girl walked closer, her movements soft, careful. She looked up at him with a serious, almost sad expression. Hunters don't track people, she said. They track thoughts, emotions, fear. The moment you saw me, the moment you chose to help me, you became part of the signal they follow. Aiden felt a cold sting run through his chest. So I was marked? She nodded slowly. Yes. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. Great, perfect. I saved someone's life, and now mine is ruined. Her eyes softened. I never asked you to save me. The words hit harder than he expected. For a moment, the cabin fell into quiet tension. Aiden could feel her guilt, even if she didn't say it directly. She knew he was in danger because of her. But the situation was bigger than blame. A loud metallic scrape echoed outside, like claws dragging across the cabin walls. Aiden flinched. The girl turned instantly, her eyes sharp. It's searching, she whispered, trying to understand the structure, learning the shape of the room. Aiden swallowed hard. It can do that? She didn't answer directly. Her silence was the answer. Aiden moved toward the small window, but the girl grabbed his wrist. No, don't look at it. Not even a reflection. Why? He asked. She lowered her voice. Hunters don't need to touch you to kill you. One glimpse, one moment of eye contact, and it can pull you apart from the inside. Aiden stepped back, his throat tightening. Okay, no looking. The hunter's voice seeped through the walls again, like someone speaking underwater. Aiden Walker. Open the door. Aiden felt his legs weaken. Why does it sound like that? Like it's inside my head? It is inside your head, she replied. He stared at her, almost angry and scared at the same time. What are you? Her expression didn't change, but something in her eyes did a spark of pain. I'm not dangerous. she said softly. But the people who created me are. Before Aiden could ask more, the cabin lights flickered once, twice, then shut off completely. Darkness swallowed the room. Only the soft glow from the girl's hair kept them from disappearing into black. Aiden heard the cabin's metal shelves vibrating. Tools rattled. Something heavy fell in the other room. The hunter was testing the structure. Testing them. "We can't stay here," she whispered. Aiden stared at her, confused. "What? You said not to run." She stepped closer. "I said don't run unless I tell you. And now, I'm telling you." A rough thud hit the door, cracking the wood. Aiden jumped back. "Wait if we go outside. It's worse if we stay," she interrupted. "It will break in, and there will be no space to move." Inside a small room. "You cannot escape their reach." Aiden wanted to argue, but the door cracked again, this time splitting down the middle. The hunter was pushing inside. "Okay," he said, grabbing his backpack. "Lead the way." The girl moved to the back of the cabin and placed her hand against the wooden wall. Her palm glowed, and the wood silently dissolved into dust, into nothing, creating a hole large enough for them to slip through. Aiden's eyes widened. "You can do that?" "I can do many things," she whispered. "But none of them will stop a hunter. Not for long." They slipped out into the cold night. The forest felt different now. The leaves were still, the air thick, as if the world itself was scared. "Where are we going?" Aiden whispered. The girl pointed deeper into the forest. "There's a place I hid before. A cave with old shielding technology." "But won't the hunter follow us?" "Yes," she said. "But the shield may confuse it long enough for me to explain everything." Aiden heard the cabin explode behind them, a shower of wood and dust blasting outwards. The hunter had broken through. The girl grabbed his hand, pulling him forward. "Run!" They sprinted through the darkness. Aiden's breath burned in his chest. Branches whipped against his arms. The glowing orbs of the hunters floated between the trees, closing in from different directions. Aiden stumbled on a root, but the girl caught him instantly, pulling him back to his feet with strength no human her size should have. "You okay?" she asked. He nodded weakly. Then they heard it, the hunter's metallic voice echoing through the forest. "You cannot run from what you fear." Aiden froze. The voice felt closer. Too close. The girl turned, eyes cold now. "Don't listen to it. It lies." Aiden forced his legs to move again. "What do they want with you? Why are they chasing you?" She didn't look at him when she answered. "Because I'm not supposed to exist." He felt his stomach twist. "What does that mean?" She finally met his eyes. "It means I was created to replace someone important, someone powerful. But I escaped before they could use me." Before Aiden could respond, the forest lit up with blue light. The hunters had found them. "Run faster," she shouted. Aiden pushed himself harder, feeling the heat of energy beams slicing the air behind him. The cave was close. He could see the opening ahead, but as they reached it, a massive shadow dropped from the trees. Landing right in front of the cave entrance, another hunter. A bigger one. The girl grabbed Aiden's shoulder. "No matter what happens, don't let go of my hand." Aiden's pulse hammered. The hunter stepped forward, its mask shifting symbols rapidly. And then it spoke a new sentence. "Aiden Walker, she is lying to you." Aiden froze. The girl's eyes widened with fear. The hunter leaned closer. She did not escape. She was released. Aiden felt the world tilt around him. He looked at the girl. She looked away. And in that moment, Aiden realized the night's biggest danger might not be the hunters, but the truth she was hiding from him. The words echoed through Aiden's mind like a slow-moving shockwave. She was released, not escaped, not rescued, released. The girl's hand trembled slightly in his grip, and that small tremble terrified him more than the glowing hunters surrounding them. The large hunter blocking the cave moved closer. Its steps were silent, but each movement felt heavy, as if the forest bent around its presence. Its mask glowed with strange symbols, flickering like warnings in a language Aiden couldn't understand. "Aiden Walker," the hunter said again, "the girl you protect is not what you believe." Aiden felt the alien girl squeeze his hand. "Don't listen," she whispered. "They twist truth. It's what they do." Aiden stared at her. "Then tell me the truth." Her eyes flickered fear, regret, something else hidden deeper. "I will, but not here." The big hunter tilted its head, almost amused. "You think you can hide in the cave?" Its voice rumbled through the trees. "She knows what lives inside that cave. She knows what waits for her." Aiden blinked. "What is it talking about?" The girl didn't answer. The smaller hunter stepped out from behind them, closing the circle. Blue light pulsed across the ground. Aiden felt a vibration through the dirt, creeping up his legs. They were trapped. The girl suddenly stepped in front of Aiden, shielding him with her small frame. Her voice changed strong, commanding. "Back away. He is under my protection." The larger hunter paused. Its mask glowed brighter. "Your protection?" Its voice lowered. "You speak like a sovereign, but you are not a sovereign. You are a copy, a tool, a replacement." Aiden felt the girl's shoulders stiffen. "Copy. Tool. She had said she wasn't meant to exist. She hadn't told him the rest." The hunter continued. "Cold and calm. You were created to mimic the sovereign Princess Ilara, the real heir of the Dominion. But you were a failure until you were released." Aiden's breath caught in his throat. "Princess?" He looked at the girl. Her glowing eyes didn't meet his. "Aiden," she whispered, "I'm not who you think." The hunter took another step. "She is not a runaway child. She is Prototype 7, built to carry the sovereign's memories, voice, and power. But she malfunctioned. She grew emotions, curiosity, compassion, defects. The Dominion calls them." Aiden felt dizzy. He looked at her again. "Is it true?" The girl finally lifted her eyes to him. Tears glowed against her cheeks, shining softly like liquid stars. "Yes," she whispered. "I was made to replace someone powerful, someone precious in their empire. I didn't want to be used, so I ran," the hunter responded instantly. "You did not run. The sovereign released you, so you would lead us to him." Aiden felt his stomach twist. "Lead them? To him? What?" Aiden asked. "Why would they release you? Why would they need me?" The girl shook her head fiercely. "No, they're lying. They want you confused. They want you scared." The small hunter stepped closer, its voice sharp. "Aiden Walker, your mind is open. Your thoughts are loud. You have seen her. You know her emotions. You are the key to completing the signal." Aiden backed away, breathing hard. "The signal? What signal?" The girl grabbed his arm. "Aiden, don't listen." But the big hunter interrupted again. "She marked you the moment you touched her. She made a bond. Not by accident. By design. Bond." Aiden's pulse spiked. The girl's voice cracked. "Aiden, please." Aiden pulled his hand out of hers. She froze. The world around them seemed to stop. Hunter's mask glowed brighter. "It is done. You see the truth." Aiden stepped back, confusion and anger battling inside him. "So you used me?" The girl shook her head desperately. "No, I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. The bond wasn't supposed to happen. I'm not supposed to feel anything. But I do. I chose you because you were kind, because you didn't look at me like an experiment. Aiden stared at her. Something inside him softened, then hardened again. But you kept secrets. The girl's eyes filled again. Because I didn't want you to be scared of me. A loud cracking noise shook the forest. The hunters moved closer, tightening the circle. You will come with us, the larger one said. Both of you. Aiden whispered. Both. You are linked now. The girl cannot be retrieved without you. The bond is incomplete. Aiden felt the ground vibrating under his feet. They were charging up. The girl turned to him, her face full of fear. Aiden, I'm sorry. I wanted to protect you. But now, I need you to trust me. A moment of silence hung between them. He remembered the old man's warning. Don't look at her. Don't follow her. He had ignored every warning, and now the hunters were closing in. The girl grabbed his hand, again gently this time. If they take me, I die. If they take you, you disappear. Forever. Please, Aiden, believe me now. Just this once. The big hunter extended its hand, dark energy swirling around its palm. Choice is over, it said. Aiden looked at her trembling fingers in his. He had 1 second to decide. Then, the girl's eyes flashed bright white. Hold your breath, she whispered. A blast of energy exploded from her body. A shock wave so bright that the forest vanished in a flash of pure light. The hunters reacted too late. The world tore open. Aiden felt gravity disappear. And together, he and the girl fell into a tearing hole of light, into some place not meant for humans. The world snapped back around Aiden in a blur of colors that didn't exist in nature. The trees, the forest, the hunters, everything vanished. For a moment, he felt weightless, like falling through thick light. Then the ground hit him hard. Aiden groaned and pushed himself up. The air tasted metallic, almost electric. Strange glowing dust floated around, them like fireflies made of broken stars. He wasn't in the forest anymore. The girl knelt beside him, breathing heavily. Her faint glow flickered like a dying candle. Aiden, are you okay? She asked, her voice weak. He nodded, rubbing his head. Where are we? She looked around slowly, fear shining in her violet eyes. A pocket space. A place between worlds. I didn't want to bring you here, but I had no choice. Aiden stood, finally noticing what surrounded them. It wasn't a cave. It wasn't a forest. It wasn't anything he knew. The ground was smooth like glass, yet warm like skin. Floating shapes drifted above them, half-formed, structures that changed shape every time he blinked. This place reacts to thoughts, she whispered. Your emotions shape the space. Aiden looked around again, realizing the tall dark pillars forming behind him looked suspiciously like the trees from the forest. Is this safe? He asked carefully. She hesitated. No place is safe from hunters, she said. But this place slows them down, confuses them. Aiden swallowed. So they can still find us? Yes, she answered softly. But not immediately. A deep sadness filled her voice, and Aiden finally realized how exhausted she looked. He sat down beside her. Tell me everything. No more secrets. The girl closed her eyes, gathering strength. Finally, she spoke. My real designation is Prototype 7. I was made on the Dominion Central World. They wanted someone who looked exactly like Princess Elara, the real heir. But not just look. Think like her. Act like her. Feel like her. Aiden frowned. You said you weren't supposed to feel. A bitter smile crossed her lips. I wasn't, but something went wrong. I began to feel my own emotions. Not the ones they programmed. What kind of emotions? She looked up at him slowly, shyly. Fear, curiosity, kindness, and she hesitated. And then I saw you. In my visions. Before I even escaped. Aiden blinked. Visions? Of me? Yes, she whispered. You were the only face that didn't scare me. I thought, maybe you were a real person. Maybe someone who could help me understand who I really am. Aiden exhaled, overwhelmed. So the Dominion released you? To find me? No, she said firmly. They released me to track the real princess. My mind still carries fragments of her memories. Places she has been. Secrets she hides. The Dominion sent me out like a signal tower. And once they found me, they knew she was close. Aiden rubbed his forehead. And I'm caught in all this because... Why? She looked down. Because you touched me. I didn't know a bond would form. But once you held my hand, the signal linked to you too. Aiden wanted to be angry, but he couldn't. He saw the shame on her face, the fear in her trembling voice. Before he could speak, a loud crackling sound boomed across the pocket space. The girl snapped her head up. No, she whispered. They're breaking through. Aiden turned. The air behind them rippled. Blue cracks appeared like lightning across the space. Something pushed through claws, then an arm, then the smooth mask of a hunter. They found us, Aiden said. Backing up, the girl grabbed his hand again. Don't let go. This space reacts to focused thoughts. If you panic, the whole place will collapse. A second hunter broke through. Then a third. The pocket space trembled violently. The girl squeezed Aiden's hand so tightly he felt her fear through her fingers. Aiden, listen to me, she said. I have only one more jump left in me. One more escape. But after that, I will lose all my power for hours. Then use it, Aiden said. Let's get out of here. No, she whispered. If I jump now, the hunters will follow instantly. We need to distract them. Aiden's chest tightened. What are you saying? She looked directly into his eyes, something breaking inside her. I will stay here and hold them back. You must escape alone. Aiden stared at her in shock. What? No, I'm not leaving you. Her voice wavered. Aiden, if they catch you, the bond will finish. They will use your mind to locate the real princess. Billions could die. You must live. You are human. You are free. The space shook again. A hunter stepped fully inside, scanning them. The girl stepped between Aiden and the hunter, lifting her glowing hands weakly. You came to protect me, she said. Now let me protect you. Aiden grabbed her shoulders. I'm not leaving you behind. I don't care what they want. Tears glowed on her cheeks. Aiden, please. The hunter raised its arm. Blue energy charged in its palm. Aiden pulled her against him, shielding her with his body. Run if you want, he whispered, but I'm staying. The girl's eyes widened. She shook her head desperately. Aiden, the hunter fired. A blinding flash exploded around them. Aiden felt the girl's scream vibrate through his chest. Then everything went silent, except for a voice behind them. A voice that didn't belong to a hunter. A voice that sounded human. Aiden Walker? Step away from her. Aiden's heart froze. He knew that voice, Dot. It was the old man from the Yow gas station. But he wasn't human anymore, and he wasn't alone. Aiden froze, his heartbeat echoing in his ears. The old man from the gas station stood at the edge of the collapsing pocket space, but he didn't look old anymore. His wrinkled skin was gone, his tired eyes replaced by bright silver ones that glowed like burning metal. Dot. His clothes shimmered and cracked away, revealing armor made of shifting energy. Symbols crawling across it like living tattoos. Aiden whispered, You're not human. The old man stepped forward, and the ground beneath his feet solidified, as if obeying him. I warned you, Aiden Walker, he said. I tried to stop this, but you didn't listen. The girl clung weakly to Aiden's arm, barely conscious. Her glow was fading fast. Aiden held her close. Don't come near her. The old man didn't even look at Aiden. His gaze was locked on the girl. Prototype 7, he said coldly. You have dragged an innocent human into a war that isn't his. The pocket space trembled as the hunters stepped forward behind Aiden, cracking the air with each movement. They didn't attack. They were waiting, watching, almost as if this thing outranked them. The girl whispered, voice soft as broken glass. He's not Dominion. He's not with them. The old man finally shifted his silver eyes toward Aiden. I am not their enemy, he said. And I not yours. But I am the only one who knows the truth about the girl you're protecting. Aiden's throat tightened. What truth? He asked. The old man raised a hand. A wall of energy materialized, blocking the hunters from moving closer. They didn't fight it. They simply stood still, silent, glowing, observing as if they were waiting for a verdict. Aiden, the old man said, that girl is not a failed copy. She is the last piece of the sovereign Princess Ilara's mind, the part she hid from the Dominion. Aiden blinked. What does that mean? The old man's voice lowered. It means she is not a tool. It means she is dangerous. The girl trembled. No, don't. Don't say it. But the old man's voice cut through her weak protests. She is the Forbidden's fragment, the emotional core of Princess Ilara. Everything the real princess felt, fear, love, guilt, was cut out and placed into a vessel. Aiden stared at the girl in shock. You're saying? She's the princess's emotions? The girl's eyes filled with glowing tears. I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose this. She whispered. The old man pointed at Aiden. And you, Aiden, have bonded with her emotional core. That bond can find the real princess, the one the Dominion has hunted for 18 years. Aiden felt his blood run cold. Why me? Why did she see me in visions? The old man's expression softened for the first time. Because the real Princess Ilara knew you as a child. Aiden gasped. What? That's impossible. The old man shook his head slowly. When you were 8 years old, your family's car crashed near Area 12. You don't remember the hours after the crash. But a Dominion ship was passing through that night. The young princess saw the wreck, stopped, and saved you. She touched your mind to keep you alive. Aiden staggered backward, the memory flashing faintly. A bright light, a soft voice, a small glowing figure leaning over him. No wonder the girl recognized his face in visions. No wonder the bond formed instantly. They were connected long before tonight. The girl sobbed softly. I didn't want him involved. I didn't want him to suffer. The old man stepped closer. The Dominion believes the real princess is hiding on this planet. They want you, Aiden, because only you can sense her presence. Only you can complete the bond. Aiden stared at the girl. And you? You already knew this? Her lips trembled. I thought, if I stayed hidden, they wouldn't find you again. I just wanted a life. A real one. Not as a tool. Not as a copy. Just me. Aiden felt something crack inside him. Before he could speak, the pocket space exploded with sound. Boom. The hunters roared, pushing against the old man's barrier. Cracks spread like spiderwebs across the sky. They're breaking through. Aiden shouted. I know, the old man said, because the girl is losing power. She cannot hold the space anymore. The girl collapsed to her knees, shaking violently. Aiden caught her. Hey, Stay with me? She whispered. Aiden. I'm scared. For the first time, she looked truly helpless. The old man reached into the air, pulling out a glowing silver device shaped like a teardrop. You must leave this place, he said. Now, Aiden struggled. I'm not leaving without her. The old man's voice hardened. You misunderstand. I'm telling you to take her and run, far, before the Dominion arrives. Aiden froze. Dominion? As in the real army? The old man nodded. They detected the bond activation. They are coming. Aiden felt the ground shake violently. The hunters burst through the barrier. The pocket space split open like a cracked egg. The old man tossed Aiden the glowing device. Protect her, he said. Because when the Dominion arrives, they will kill everything to get her back. A blinding light engulfed them. Aiden grabbed the girl. Ethan stood frozen as the glowing mark on his arm pulsed like a heartbeat. The entire cavern trembled, dust falling from the ceiling. Syrah grabbed his wrist tightly, fear clear in her wide blue eyes. Ethan, they're here. A low hum rolled through the cavern deep, metallic, unnatural. It wasn't the soft humming of the cave crystals. It was something stronger, hungrier. Ethan swallowed. The hunters? No, Syrah whispered. Something worse. A beam of sharp white light suddenly sliced across the cavern walls. Ethan pulled Syrah behind a fallen stone pillar, just as multiple floating metallic spheres entered through a crack in the ceiling. Each sphere opened like a mechanical flower, exposing rotating blades, needle-like scanners, and a red burning eye at the center. Syrah's voice trembled. Collectors. Ethan whispered back. What do they want? They take everything. Life, energy, memories. They leave worlds empty. Ethan's blood ran cold. Then we're not letting them touch you. The collectors scanned the cavern floor, emitting sharp clicking noises. One of them paused, its red eye focusing on a scorch mark 1 left by Syrah's defensive energy blast earlier. Ethan cursed under his breath. We need to move. He motioned for Syrah to crawl behind him. They shifted silently from stone cover to stone cover, staying low. The cavern echoed with sharp mechanical sounds, growing louder each second. Just as they reached a narrow tunnel opening, a collector suddenly whirled toward them. Its red eye burned brighter dot. It had detected them. Run! Ethan grabbed Syrah's hand. They sprinted down the twisting tunnel as metallic blades whirred behind them. Sparks shot across the walls as the collector fired cutting lasers. Syrah stumbled, and Ethan pulled her up. Come on, don't stop. They burst into a wider chamber only to find 3 more collectors hovering like silent metal predators. Ethan clenched his fists. We'll fight if we have to. But Syrah shook her head. You don't understand. Fighting them only brings more. The collectors moved forward, spinning rapidly. Ethan scanned the room. There was no exit except the tunnel they came through. We're trapped, he whispered. No. Syrah stepped forward, her hands glowing faintly. Not trapped, chosen. Ethan blinked. What are you doing? But Syrah didn't answer. Instead, she raised her hands. The crystal lines on the walls responded instantly, lighting up one by one. The chamber glowed as if waking from a long sleep. Suddenly, the mark on Ethan's arm flared painfully, sending a shockwave through his entire body. Ethan! Syrah cried as he dropped to one knee. The collectors reacted, turning violently toward them, blades spinning. But the walls vibrated with a deep, ancient hum of voice. Ethan didn't understand, but somehow felt inside his skull. The cavern itself was alive. A ring-shaped pattern lit up on the ground around. Ethan. Syrah rushed to him, touching the mark on his arm. It's activating, she said breathlessly. Your bond with the ancient core. What does that mean? It means they chose you. The collectors fired beams, but the ring on the ground erupted upward in a dome of shimmering blue energy. Their lasers hit harmlessly, scattering sparks across the room. Ethan stared at his arm. I don't know how to use this. I didn't ask for any of this. Sierra cupped his face gently. The core wouldn't choose someone weak. It chose you because you protect people, even when you're afraid. Ethan felt warmth spread from her touch. The fear inside him slowly turned into something else, something strong and steady. He stood, and the dome pulsed outward like a living force. Energy shot from his mark into the cavern walls, and the entire chamber flashed. The collectors were violently thrown back, crashing into stone pillars, screeching metallic cries. One shattered completely. Another tried to escape, but the energy wrapped around it like a chain and crushed it instantly. The last one retreated toward the tunnel. Ethan breathed heavily, shaking. I did that? Sierra looked at him with wonder. You awakened the ancient shield. No human has ever. But she didn't finish, because the ground suddenly cracked open. The chamber shook with such force that Ethan had to hold the wall to stay standing. A massive stone slab shifted aside, revealing a long circular hallway filled with golden light. Sierra's face paled. The core chamber. Ethan stared inside. Is that where your people come from? It's older than my people, she said softly. Older than your world. Ethan took a step forward. The golden hall pulsed as if recognizing him. But then, a violent metallic roar filled the cavern. A giant collector 10 times the size of the others forced its way through the cracked ceiling. Multiple red eyes scanned the room. Its rotating blades sounded like a jet engine. It had come for them. Sierra grabbed Ethan's hand. We have to enter the core, now. Ethan glanced at the towering machine, then at the golden hall that could swallow them whole. Will it protect us? He asked. Sierra hesitated for a moment, too. Long. I don't know, she whispered. Giant collector lunged, and Ethan made his choice. He pulled Sierra into the golden corridor as the chamber collapsed behind them. The golden corridor swallowed Ethan and Sierra in a blinding glow. Behind them, the giant collector smashed through the collapsing chamber, its metallic roar echoing like a dying star. But once Ethan crossed the threshold, the golden light sealed behind him, shutting the creature out. Silence. Warm. Endless. Heavy. Ethan blinked as the corridor expanded into a huge circular chamber. Floating rings spun slowly above, a glowing sphere suspended in the center, white light swirling like a living storm inside it. Sierra pressed a hand over her heart. The ancient core. It is awake. Ethan stepped forward, feeling the mark on his arm, syncing with the core's rhythm. Thump. 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 Each pulse made the chamber brighter. What does it want from me? Ethan whispered. Sierra walked beside him. It chooses a guardian whenever danger threatens a world. Someone who acts with courage, even in fear. Ethan wasn't sure he believed that. But the glowing sphere reacted to his every breath as if agreeing with her. Suddenly, the floor trembled. Deep outside the sealed chamber, the giant collector continued smashing its way through layers of stone. The ancient core room shook again, dust drifting from the ceiling. It's breaking in, Ethan shouted. Sierra looked at the swirling sphere. Then you must accept the core's bond before it reaches us. That is the only way to protect both our worlds. Ethan's heart pounded harder. What happens if I accept it? Sierra lowered her eyes. Your body changes. Your mind expands. You may not remain fully human. She paused. And you may not survive the full bond. Ethan froze. The sphere pulsed faster, responding to the approaching threat outside. But if I don't? He asked. Sierra looked at him, eyes full of fear and hope. Then everything ends. My people. Your world, me. A crack tore through the far wall as a massive metallic blade punched through it. Ethan made his decision in one breath. I'll do it. Sierra grabbed his hand tightly. Ethan, are you sure? This thing wants to destroy everything. I won't run anymore. He gave a weak smile. Besides, someone has to protect you. Sierra's eyes widened soft, emotional, but she nodded. Ethan stepped toward the floating core. The air around it vibrated, pulling him closer like gravity. When he extended his hand, the sphere opened, revealing a swirling storm of white-blue energy. He touched it. Instantly, the room exploded with light. Energy rushed into him like fire and ice mixed together. His bones vibrated. His mind expanded so fast, he screamed without sound. Sierra cried out, running toward him. Ethan! But she couldn't reach him. The core wrapped him in a cocoon of energy, lifting him into the air. His heartbeat synced with the core until it was impossible to tell them apart. Images flashed through Ethan's mind, ancient civilizations, destroyed planets, forgotten guardians, the birth of the collectors, endless wars. Then a voice echoed in his thoughts. You are chosen. Stand. The cocoon shattered. Ethan fell to the floor on one knee, gasping. When he raised his head, Sierra stepped back in shock. His mark was no longer a symbol on his arm. It had spread across his chest, glowing like living lightning under his skin. His eyes shimmered with pale blue energy, reflecting the core's light. Ethan felt powerful, aware, connected to everything around him. He stood up slowly. I can feel it, the core. It's inside me. Sierra approached him carefully. Ethan, you're different. He looked at her with a gentle smile. Still me, just upgraded. Before Sierra could respond, the chamber wall exploded inward. The giant collector burst through, its red eyes blazing. Blades spinning. Energy cannons charging. Sierra stepped in front of Ethan. Let me... No, Ethan said softly. This is my fight. The collector fired a massive beam, but Ethan raised his hand, and a shimmering shield formed instantly. The beam bent around him like water hitting a stone. Ethan took one step forward. The entire room shook. He spoke, and his voice echoed with the core's power. You want me? Come. The collector lunged. Ethan thrust his hand forward, and a wave of pure force slammed into the machine, sending it crashing into the cavern wall. Stone collapsed over it, but the creature rose again. Shrieking in rage, Ethan didn't hesitate. He launched himself forward, faster than human, his fist glowing. When he struck the metal chest of the collector, the entire chamber flashed white. The collector exploded into thousands of pieces. Silence returned. Sierra stared at him, her breath caught. Ethan, you defeated a prime collector, alone. He turned back to her. With the core's help, the glowing chamber slowly dimmed as if finally at peace. Sierra walked closer. What will you do now? Ethan looked at his glowing hands, then a long dark corridor leading back to the surface. I'll protect your people, he said softly. And mine. That's what this power is for. Sierra gave a small smile. You sound like a guardian already. He touched the mark on his chest. Maybe I am. She stepped beside him. Then you won't face the future alone. Ethan looked at her, at the girl he ignored warnings about. The girl who changed his fate, then nodded. Double quotes together. Then they turned toward the exit as the ancient core dimmed behind them, its duty fulfilled. For now, but far above the cavern's ceiling, in the silent darkness of space, dozens of red eyes flickered awake. The collectors had noticed his awakening, and they were coming.